We live in a world of treating symptoms and not the cause or problem. Police officers, military veterans are seeing carnage and expected to go home with peace and kindness. Some of these men and women experience some of the most horrific things, like losing a partner or a friend. Our medical and dental system treat symptoms and not cure diseases. It's more profitable to treat symptoms than to cure the actual problem. A man interviewed several well-known therapists and asked them how many people had they fixed, and all of the therapists said 0. That's a shame. Pretty shocking when you think of some of these people going to therapy for 20 years and still suffering from depression and anger problems. It's really sad when you think of how many firefighters, police officers, veterans, people in hospitals, mental hospitals. All the people around the world going to therapy. But I know someone. His name is the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. His name is Jesus Christ. When I came to him, he fixed a lot of the things in my life. But I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You coming to faith and trying to actually walk biblically, it's not easy. You're going to have people come against you. You're going to have people mock you. You're going to have people hate you. Jesus said I was perfect and they didn't like me. They're not going to like you. I'm not saying that by coming to Jesus, he's going to fix every little tiny problem that you have in your life. What I'm saying is, what's the alternative? To suffer in depression, to suffer in anger, to suffer in being an alcoholic, to suffer in drug addiction? Like, we all know where severe depression leads. It leads to you not being here anymore. I'm not saying your life is going to be easy when you come to Jesus. It's going to be hard. But it's worth it. There's a peace that comes with that. People start to mock you. People start to make fun of you. Sometimes you're just like, whatever. It's in the Bible. He warned me about this, you know. He did that for me. He showed up for me. The drugs that I was addicted to back in the day, I quit them cold turkey. I should have died. Recently quitting smoking cigarettes. So finally I'm just like, God, what am I doing wrong? I've tried to quit so many times. And I don't understand, because I see all these people and they're, like, what am I missing? Because I've been a Christian for like most of my life, so I don't really understand, like, how am I failing in an area? Because I see these other people and they're like, Jesus cleaned up all of these things when I got saved. And I'm just like, yeah, but I mean, he cleaned up a lot when I got saved, but I still smoke cigarettes. And I don't want to. I know that that's not good. I know it's not healthy. And I know that if it's not healthy, I shouldn't be doing it. And, I don't want to do anything that he doesn't like. And so finally, I just got, for years of praying, I just got fed up and was like, you know what, God, I surrender. My life, I completely surrender. I've always been put your best foot forward kind of guy. I'll figure it out. I'll get it done. Eventually, it'll work out. I know God's got my back, but I'm going to do this and this and this. There's too much I. Finally, I'm just like, I can do nothing without you. Please help me to quit smoking. Help me with my prayer life. Help me with, lead my footsteps, lead my speech, lead my mind, lead my ears, my eyes. I surrender everything to you, because I know left to my own ignorance, I'll just breed more ignorance. But you're perfect. And I'm asking you to show up for me. And he did. He's always shown up for me. It's kind of like, being a kid, like being a child. They just fully surrender. Like, okay, Dad. They just have that just blind faith. But there's so many people around the world just suffering, like depression and anxiety and alcoholism. I mean, tons of things that you can think of. But this is to me, this is what I call it. I'm just going to be honest. I'm just going to say it like it is. If you don't like it, sorry. What I see around the world is spiritual sickness. That's what I see. I see spiritual sickness. I know a lot of preachers out there will be like, oh, I can think of a few. I'm not going to name them by names. There's these certain group of people think that everything is a spirit. I don't know if that's true or if it's not. But I do know that narcissism lines up pretty well when you go back in the Old Testament and start studying Ahab and Jezebel. A lot of the traits that Jezebel had are like, oh, well, Kevin, she was an actual person in the Old Testament. Yes, but she's also in Revelation. God tells the church in Thyatira, you're suffering that woman Jezebel. Jezebel's a spirit. I didn't realize until recently that narcissism and Jezebel, that's the same thing. That's the same person. That's the same spirit. If you haven't battled with a narcissist, then keep your comments to yourself. Because unless you've been there, unless you've experienced it like firsthand, probably shouldn't talk about it. That's just my personal opinion. But when you're dealing with a narcissist and they know that they've hurt you deeply about something and they smile, are you telling me that that's not evil? That everything that good that they see, they're calling evil? Oh wow, the Bible talks about that in the last days. That good will be called bad and bad will be called good. Are we not there now? So I figured out recently that narcissism and Jezebel, that's the same thing. It's the same spirit. I see spiritual sickness. I don't think people realize God labels out in His Word all of the spirits that come from Him. So if you think something is affecting this person, wow, this person just all of a sudden, man, they're just like flipped. They seem to be so dark. What are they doing? Are they practicing witchcraft? Probably, maybe. Are they doing a bunch of things they shouldn't be doing? Are they serving God? If they're not serving God, they're serving the devil. You're not serving God and you're serving the devil. Can he send demonic spirits after you and corrupt you? Especially if you're married to a preacher? Yeah, he can. He will. What I see, I call it spiritual sickness. I see a lot of people that are spiritually sick. I'm not going to go into details because of some people that I know, but man, recently I've seen some straight up possessed people. because they're practicing witchcraft. But I just see a lot of spiritual sickness around the world. And, the Bible warned us about that, of how it would be in the last days. You hear some preachers say, well, Paul thought that he was in the last days because he was expecting Jesus to come back in any moment and take the church. He was expecting that. So that's how we're supposed to live. A lot of preachers look at Paul and be like, well, he was expecting to be in the last days, but he obviously wasn't because, he ended up dying in Rome, but I believe it was Rome. But I've always thought, okay, since we know that 1,000 years is a day to God and a day is 1,000 years to God, there's not really, time doesn't really affect him. So saying that Paul's in the last days, I think is correct. I think both sides are correct. I think we're correct. I think my grandmother was correct. I think after Jesus died on the cross, rose from the dead, went back to heaven, we're in the last days. We've been in the last days for a very long time. There's so many people around the world that are hurting mentally. Society wants to label it, oh, he's schizophrenic, or he's got mental problems, and he's got this and got that. Go back to the Bible. What does the Bible say? That's always my best advice. Anytime somebody says something to you, anytime somebody brings something up, anytime you're talking to somebody that's a Christian or not a Christian, and they're telling you something, it's like, you know what I bet the answer is? The Bible. I bet it's in the Bible. It is. When Jesus stepped off the boat and the man yelled out, did you come to torment us before the time? Legions, for we are many. That's what was inside that man. Tons of evil spirits, unclean spirits were in that man. And they recognized Jesus as soon as he stepped off the boat. Lunatic, it says in the Bible. He's sore lunatic. Jesus healed that guy. Lunatic. Crazy. Okay, so that was the spirit. Sorry, there's a lot of preachers out there who think that not everything is a spirit. I don't think so either. But I do think that there's a lot that affect people on a daily basis. Man, this is not going to be popular, but I don't care. I'm going to say it anyway. There's tons of different things in the Bible that Jesus rebuked the unclean spirit, and it came out, and the people were set free. There's a lot of things that the world will label that is just, oh, he's schizophrenic. Well, what's schizophrenia? You hear a bunch of different voices in your head. I've experienced some of those people personally. There's people that I know that suffer from that. And when I was a young kid, I just remember being so mad that they didn't get the help that they needed. I'm sorry, but I think that's a spirit. I think schizophrenia is a spirit. Think about it. Especially if you're out there watching, you're a Christian. Man, schizophrenia, having a bunch of different voices in your head telling you to do a bunch of stuff, having a bunch of voices in your head specifically trying to get you to blaspheme, that's demonic. I'm sorry. If you're out there and you're a therapist, you're a mental doctor, whatever, dig into the Word. See what the Word says about that. Is there a cure for schizophrenia? Death. That's the cure for schizophrenia, is death. They can't cure it. Tons of the problems around the world men can't cure. It's because they're spiritual. We need more of Jesus in this world. We don't need more people making huge profits by treating symptoms. We need the cure. Jesus Christ is the cure. He's the same yesterday, today, and forever. So I hate when people say that, only the disciples were given the authority to heal and stuff like that because they were walking with Jesus. That's why they couldn't fast and stuff like that. Don't tell me that he can't heal people today. My little brother used to have asthma. He doesn't have asthma. A man from out of town, a preacher from out of town, what was his name? Larry Timberman, came and prayed for my little brother. And ever since that night, he's never had asthma. You can't tell me that God doesn't still heal people. He doesn't still show up for people. He does. He's shown up for me when I had a gun to my head. He showed up for me. He showed up for me when I was addicted to drugs and quit him cold turkey, and I should have went and had a seizure and died. Don't tell me that God doesn't heal people today. Don't tell me that Jesus doesn't show up today. He does, all the time. It's just sad because I see a lot of spiritual sickness. I deal with people that are possessed. I deal with people that have this Jezebel narcissist spirit hanging on their back. And they're horrible to deal with. Horrible. It's exhausting. When you die and, God willing, you die and go to heaven, ask Elijah. Elijah wasn't suicidal. He was mentally and physically drained. That's what it's like to deal with a narcissist. I think a lot of people throw that word around, but they don't really know, people can have a few narcissistic tendencies if we want to go by what the world thinks. They can, there's a lot of people that just have a few, but you have to have all of them in order to be a true narcissist. No, you have to be spiritually bound in order to be a full narcissist. And when somebody is spiritually bound, it doesn't matter how many times that you make logical, perfect sense to them. They will not believe it. Even if it's something that they have said the day before and you bring it back and talk about it, they'll disagree with you. Like, what are you talking about? I just told you what you believed yesterday. I just told you what you believed an hour ago. Jezebel didn't like to be corrected. She didn't like to be wrong. She wanted Elijah dead. Elijah was responsible for killing a lot of her prophets, and she didn't like that. She won't release control. See what I'm talking about? Narcissists, they got to control everything, and then they'll accuse you of being controlling. Kind of sounds like Jezebel, doesn't it? Look at some of the things that narcissists do, and then go to the Old Testament and read about Jezebel. Perfectly lines up. I'm sorry. I don't care if you disagree with me. Dig into the Word. That's always my best advice. I say that just about every video I put out. Dig into the Word yourself. Pick it up for yourself. If you're Lutheran, Episcopalian, Jewish, Catholic, pick up the Word for yourself and read it. Pick up a King James Bible and read it for yourself. And say, hey, these are all the things that Jesus said not to do. And this is what we're all doing. This is what Jesus said not to do. And these are the things that we, in fact, are doing. Read it for yourself. If you don't believe me that narcissist and Jezebel is the same thing, go read about Jezebel. She made it appear that she was doing something for King Ahab by killing that man and taking his land from him and giving it. She was doing that because it was benefiting her. You don't tell me no. Jezebel doesn't like to be told no. She doesn't like to be corrected. It kind of sounds like a feminist, doesn't it? It does. Now think of all the liberals out there that lose their mind and have this demonic temper tantrum. That's what I call it. It's demonic temper tantrum. You can't even talk to them. You can't even talk to them. Even if you're not a Christian and you're talking to one of those people, like, I'm sorry, it's sad to me. I'm not trying to bash anybody. I'm not trying to argue with people over their political views or anything. To me, it's sad. To me, I see a sickness, which is only one cure, and that's Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Study the Bible. Read it for yourself. It's the only thing that is going to get you through. The society keeps getting darker and darker and darker and darker, just like the Bible told us. Dig into that thing more than ever. There's no harm going to come from it. Even if you're an atheist out there and you want to disagree with me by using the book that I've studied my whole life, the Bible, study it for yourself. Study it for yourself. It's sad to me of how many people are suffering around the world with mental problems and just this spiritual sickness that is around the world and around the nation. It's horrible. It's horrible. I know a lot of people affected by it. I know kids that are on the spectrum, and just the way that they act when a Christian guy that's filled with the Holy Spirit is around, you'll know that it's pretty demonic. Walking around a liberal person who's suffering from a Jezebel spirit, a narcissist, you'll know. Maybe Kevin's right. I blasted him on his YouTube. I put a bunch of nasty comments on there. I disagreed with him. I tried to pull out all these other scriptures to try to prove him wrong. I tried to use the word as a weapon against him. But you know, right? You know what? He was right. One of the issues that we have in the church community right now is that not every single, that's too general. There's a lot of people out there that are supposed to be Christians, that are watching your channels, watching you on social media, watch how you're talking in public, and they cannot wait to disagree with you. That's your spiritual health. Just like Jesus said, if you were of your father, you would have loved me. But you're of your father, Satan.